Hi everybody, welcome back. I think last time we spoke, Venzen, was Saturday. The price was 9,600. So
It is.
we'll jump
Yeah,
into where it's at today. I haven't actually looked at it today. Um,
same. I've not. Suddenly it's at 10,500.
oh
Here
really?
we are.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
back above the
We'll have a
Tyler
look
Jenks line.
and
Who knows?
get your
Yeah.
thoughts. Yeah. Also, people, just to let you know, we've just done a very long and incredibly interesting vlog with Daniel Kravitz. He is an extremely interesting character. I'd encourage you to check that out. It's posted next to this video. We discussed the differences between Bitcoin BTC, Bitcoin SV. He's probably one of the more notable converts, I guess you would use that word, to the BSV camp. So it's a really interesting chat. Encourage you to check it out. But yeah, Venzen, let's give the people what they want and get into some price chat.
Yes, let's do that. Just before we start, do you think Daniel Kravitz wants to talk to me again?
Yeah, definitely.
He seemed okay. You and him had a rapport because you had met previously. But I was opposing some of his ideas, and it seemed like he didn't like that.
No. Look, for me, it's, as I voiced my frustration last time, I mean, most people will probably disagree with me. I think people like to listen to people ranting and raving and abusing each other. So it was nice to have more of a gentlemanly discussion on the merits of both camps, especially,
I know that was
for somebody like myself who's trying to
Yeah.
learn. And this is what I think is lost on a lot of commentators. And this is what I alluded to last time. I don't think any of us do any favors by slinging shit at each other. If to be able to have the chat like that with you guys, where everyone calmly gave their viewpoints, that's so much more valuable to somebody that is looking at investing their time and money in this space. So, I thought that was a really good chat, and I'm sure Daniel has a huge amount of respect for you after that. So yeah, check it out, people. It was I learned a lot from both of you.
Yeah, it was really interesting. He also made his points sort of at a slow pace and pointedly, so that it was easy to wait out because I knew he was going to give you or me a chance to respond after, so.
Correct.
That was a good.
That's rare in this space.
Yeah, it was almost like a textbook debate. It's like, wait your turn. You're gonna get your turn to talk.
Yeah. Check out that chat, people. It'll certainly further your knowledge of both Bitcoin BTC and what's happening at Bitcoin SV. It was a pleasure talking to you.
One more thing. Can I quickly show the audience here what I'm smoking? Because some people ask me, like, what are you smoking? Implying that it's like weed or something. I cannot reasonably go on the air, people, and do price analysis, which requires vast stores of mental capacity, and smoke weed and then become creative with the chart, right?
Venzen, I guess it is pertinent for you to tell people that, but I've known you for quite a while now. We've also spent quite a bit of time in the same country where smoking weed is something that gets you put in a cage for a very long time. So I can assure our audience that Venzen is a healthy young man with a sharp mind. And I have no issue with smoking weed at all. It's certainly not something to do in Thailand at all. Contrary to popular.
Well, yeah, there's everything's got its time and place. But this specifically, what I'm smoking is this is a palm leaf that just grows locally, and it gets dried, and the leaf kind of gets torn apart like this. And it opens up and you've got the two halves when it's dried, right? Then in that, you put some of this Thai tobacco, right? Which you buy for
you can give us rolling lessons, but just not for weed.
I'll give you a rolling lesson with this particular one. So I spent so many years rolling my own cigarettes with Rizla and drum, right? So what you do, you put your tobacco inside of the two leaves, you twist it over, and you give it a twist like that, and then you got something to smoke, right? Whatever you put inside is up to you, but you know, smoking weed and technical analysis don't go together. Not live on
You
air.
heard that here,
Brian,
kids. You heard that here. Don't get high.
Brian, let me have a how are you doing, by the way? Do you
I'm
mind,
good,
do
mate.
you
I'm
want to
good.
disclose your location while I find a
Oh,
spot?
I'm back in Thailand for a few days, and then
Welcome.
off to a couple of
Well,
conferences. Yeah, I mean three countries, three conferences in the coming weeks. So busy, and then ultimately making my way down to you to do your trading course. I'm looking forward to it.
fantastic. Okay,
Yeah.
so here we go. I'm gonna go into a screen share now. Just give me a minute. TradingView. Even though I'm a long time member, a user, and I've been through phases where I pay them. Now they just bombard me with adverts, man. It's so annoying. I hate to pay not to have adverts. So I keep on having to battle, keeping these charts visible. And just let me find the chart that I'm going to share now. And somehow, oh, it's jumped down there. Okay. So I can share this chart, and normally we look at the Bitstamp chart because it's a kind of a non-leveraged exchange. So being a spot exchange, what we call a spot exchange, where traders are just buying and selling Bitcoin for US dollars, Bitstamp gives you a sort of a mild price chart. This is the BitMEX futures, a BitMEX swap chart, right? It's perpetual. A futures chart normally expires, and there are normally events at the expiry. A lot of traders want to get out the market, or a lot of traders want to close positions, or whatever the case may be. The perpetual swap chart just remains open year long, indefinitely. So this is what we're looking at. Can you see it on your screen?
I can indeed.
Okay. So I'm in a 15-minute chart, and in here we can see sort of each little candle being 15 minutes worth of trading history. We can see that price had dropped down to a low just near 9,300, and then apparently winding sideways on its way to making another dump, then started moving higher. Now let me just zoom out to a 4-hour chart to give us more price history. Excuse all the lines. I'm going to zoom into what's relevant. The green lines, the sort of the channel moving from top left to bottom right, this is the correction since late June. And it looks like a correction, and we would have expected price to make its way towards that bottom green line. So it used to be near 8,000 at the time when price was dumping. Now it's moving closer to 7,500, the bottom of this green line where my cursor is moving. Instead, what we found is that price found support at 9,100-ish, and then 9,300 last week.
Mm-hmm.
And then started moving up, right? It's moved above a sort of a sloping trend line. And it's also above 10,100, which has been a level of contention right here. You can see all of this zigzagging across 10,100. Okay, so now we're moving to a very interesting level, because this upper green trend line, and what we see the history of the price chart is that when price breaks a decline trend line to the upside, right? So this being the upper green line being a declining trend line, if we see Bitcoin price close above this, in other words, it closes above approximately 11,100, 11,200 in the coming days, that is going to imply that this corrective phase is over, and that we could be into the next wave of advance.
Right.
Now, I don't want to get everyone excited and say, well, now's the time. Venzen said, buy Bitcoin. We're not giving trading advice. We're not making calls and telling you now is the time to buy. What I'm saying is the probability is there that we will then advance once we establish above 11,200. You make the decision once this becomes true, right? And that's a decision you've got to make for yourself individually. Don't believe me. I'm just telling you it's a high probability. That's my analysis, right?
Gotcha.
However, many um, popular analysts are saying if we do not pierce above this green line and we continue going down, then it could get ugly, right? Because then the distance down to this green trend line and to support into the 7,000s it becomes shaky. It becomes not a bottomless pit, but there could be some radical decline into 7,000s. Is this true? Will it happen? We don't know. But what I can tell you is a drop below this yellow line at 9,000. Let me just clear my screen. 9,000 in the Bitmex chart, approximately 9,100. A drop below there is going to give you reason to believe, is going to give you reason to sell. I'm not telling you to sell. I'm saying it's going to give you a reason to sell. You must consider it strongly. Do your technical analysis. Don't do what I'm saying I think is going to happen. We're talking about probabilities. Above the green line, further advance. Below the yellow line, a drop into the 7,000s, maybe finding support at 8,000. That would be good.
Right.
The longer, is everything clear?
Yeah, it
you
is.
Get the sense of what I'm saying there, Sean?
Yeah. We got an interesting week ahead, basically, huh?
Yeah. The price action is narrowing. You can see from the left of the chart that the swings were wild, and now it's kind of consolidating into a narrower range of movement. And the market is indecisive. There hasn't been a decision yet. The upper green line represents the decision point, right? The watershed. It could
what sort
carry
of
on
time frame do
winding
you think we're
sideways.
looking at for
A decision?
Yeah.
You know, the simplest way to sort of establish that is just to say, where do these lines converge? And if we draw them forward in time, I might run out of chart space here. It appears to be somewhere towards the end of October. It could go on for as long as that. This sideways kind of meandering could go until the end of October. I think that there'll be a decision before then. And that's interesting because if the decision is to the upside, and I've got to jump to a larger time frame again, now we're looking at the one-day chart, and the lines are obscuring price, so I'm just going to get rid of them. If we look at the larger one-day chart, there is the 2017 December top on the top left-hand corner. Price had gone as low as 3,100, 3,150 down there. If the decision is to continue advancing above that green declining trend line that is drawn across there, then things become interesting because the magnitude of this correction implies that price should then target 15,000. There's a previous, there's so there's 14,000 that we touched and then went into a correction. Could price make a double top? Maybe, but I'm with our friend Tone Bays on this idea of double tops. A double top doesn't necessarily
Could you explain
mean
a double top?
Double top means that price now goes back to 40. If price were to go back to 14,000 and then reverse, that people say, oh, that was the market top. That's it. Now it's going to drop. Now I'm selling all my Bitcoin. I don't believe that that's necessarily the case. Not in the Bitcoin chart anyway. Often when there is a retest of the previous high, it's because the market wants to push higher again. The Bitcoin market is just that exuberant, that emotional, that if it goes and touches 14,000 again, I think it can easily go to 15,000, perhaps 17,000. Who knows? Because this rally higher has been so energetic. There's been no significant retracement since it started back in April or February. It looks like there's been no significant pullback to test any of these previous these kind of high points. There's one in February. There's a sort of a cluster of them here in April. We haven't even yet had a proper test of these highs at 8,800. So, man,
Do you have any comments around volume, Venzen, over the last few months? Is there any sort of significant factors? Is that something how important is that to come into conclusions for you?
I don't really consider volume in my analysis. You know, the reason why is because we know for a fact that the volume in the Bitcoin exchanges is not truthful. The exchanges have their own transactions mixed up in the volume for whatever reason, either by sort of algorithms that are balancing the price of this exchange to other exchanges, or because the broker is what's called wash trading. They're buying and selling internally to create market movement, to force liquidations, to do all kinds of tricks. They're unregulated, therefore they can do it. You know, should they do it? Well, I don't know. This you can see behind me there is a traffic light flashing orange. It does that day and night, and somehow the traffic self-regulates. There's no accidents here, and it's a meeting point of 5 roads, and there's no traffic light. Somehow cars cross and drive.
It's orange the whole time.
Yeah. In fact, over at my bedroom window, it flashes red. You know?
Man, what's that traffic light been smoking?
So in terms of volume, no, I don't really factor that into my trading. Certainly at this point, and I unfortunately don't have volume visible on this chart. The conclusion that I must make as a technical analyst is that if price breaks above 11,200, we're continuing higher.
Right.
How high it's going to be, I don't know. I think 15,000 is close. Is it going to rally into the 30,000s and 50,000s in the near future? I strongly don't think so. I think that this is a bull trap, Sean. I think that this market has been irrational, and that's why I pointed out that there have been no tests of these previous tops, which Bitcoin has in its price history always made. This move is not, I wouldn't say it's artificial, but it's irrational. The market is it's almost as if the market is in denial that we're still in a bear market, and it's trying to Kool-Aid, it's trying to happy itself out of it. You know, at a kiddies party, when everyone has had so much sugar and they've had fizzy drinks and everything, at the height of all the joy, when everyone's fully like sugared up on a sugar high and running around, there comes a wail. Yeah, there comes a wail of a kid that somehow banged its head on a swing or something. And the mood of the whole party changes in an instant, you know, and suddenly there's like confused parents running around, and I think this is what we're heading towards.
Okay, well, it's certainly interesting times. It looks like there's going to be a big move. It's just which direction that's in. Okay, so yeah, which part of the world are you in there? You're south of Thailand, I guess?
I'm in the south of Thailand. I don't want to say exactly where, but this is a sort of one of the contested provinces in the far south, and this is the news and this is the belief. But I've been spending a lot of time here, and it's actually really relaxed. There's a lot of military presence, but having grown up in South Africa, I'm used to that. And the mood in the street is good. You know, there's smiles everywhere, and there's no violence. I'm thoroughly enjoying Thailand as much as ever.
Oh, fantastic! Well, you're looking nice and healthy there, sir. I know you've been in bed for the last few days, a bit under the weather. So good to see you looking fresh.
Back in shape. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah. All right, my friend. So short and sweet. We've obviously just had a long and extremely interesting call with Daniel Krawitz. That video will be posted along with this, so certainly check that out. Anything you want to, if people are seeing this video before watching that, Venzen, any comments on you've obviously, I know what it's like. Often you do these vlogs, and then when it's over, you're like, oh, if I'd only said that, is there anything you want to maybe sort of preempt or add to?
Oh, not really. Hey,
Were you happy with?
I was happy with it. Thanks for organizing it. That was a great idea, just to have him on, whether I was on or not. You know, just to have him say. He's got some interesting ideas. You know, I clearly live in a different social circle and ideology than him, and that's okay. You know, it's not good or bad. It's just how it is. It was interesting to hear from what for me is completely left field, you know, to hear his ideas, and a lot of theory of money talk, which was interesting to me, because my even though I'm in money and I'm a trader, I'm an educator about markets and trading, I never spend time thinking or really reading about theory of money. I just always go by my practical experience on the ground, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it was great to speak with him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. How are you doing time, by the way? You got to go somewhere? You got to be somewhere?
I don't know. What is it?
I was going to ask you, just for shooting the breeze.
We can do that.
Have you been hearing about any of the changes in the global warming debate?
And the global warming debate.
Should we get into it for 5 minutes?
We can do that. You could maybe bring me up to speed. Obviously, in the part of the world I've been in, it's keeping a very close eye on what's going down in Hong Kong. There seems to be there's a lot of drama in the world right now, Venzen. So yes, go ahead and depress me with have we got some news on global?
You know what's interesting? I ask you because I just watched a documentary put out by the Suspicious Observers channel, and it's a group of scientists who do independent study and research, and some of them are anonymous but based in research sort of organizations, universities, and even in NASA, some of them. And these guys just put out an infomentary about the global warming debate, and they started it off by saying, like, let's not get into a political or policy debate. You know, we believe that this is our home planet. This soil is where we grow our food. This is the air we breathe, and this is the water that we drink. We need not to pollute. We need to control pollution. We need to minimize pollution. We need to recycle. We need to even enforce retroactive cleaning by corporations that had previously sort of polluted and done bad things to the environment. That's their starting point. But they then proceed to say that the global warming debate is flawed at its basis because of the certain assumptions that they make. And it'll take too long for me to get into what those assumptions are, because we're talking about research and collated research of thousands of papers. But this is a development because what these guys are saying basically at the end of it is that, or in the meat of it, they're saying that we're not necessarily looking at global warming anymore, but that parts of the global warming, but that other parts of the world are cooling. And that the net effect in the next few decades is going to be that we move into a cold period, or what they call a mini ice age. Which is interesting because when you say ice age, it's like, oh my God, you know, you think of the movie and like you know, the earth covered in snow.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that, you know, something like that. So that was just interesting. I don't know what you think about that. It's just
look, it's
modern science.
It's been a while since I've obviously I'm involved in a social impact initiative here in Asia, where we've got a lot of really talented people working on a number of projects. I'll put a link to that below this video. Climate change is certainly on the agenda for a number of them. I mean, my understanding, there's salinity in the, what do you call it, the conveyor that goes up past
Yeah.
UK.
This is
If that switches off, then it's going to get super cold in the north, but warmer in the southern hemisphere.
So you're aware of it. That's
But
great. You see, the name is changing. It's now called climate change, not
yeah.
global warming anymore, because that idea has run its course, and it's now it's developing into a more complex idea. Um, so yeah, nice to talk about that. Give me an idea what's happening in Hong Kong. I'm completely out of touch with that because
I think today,
and moving
there's a very interesting development. I believe the Parliament there has decided to withdraw the extradition legislation, which is effectively what kicked off these riots. Although my understanding is there's 5 main points of contention for these protesters. So at least that seems to be a positive move. It's obviously getting extremely ugly there. Certainly escalated way beyond anything I've ever thought it would.
Is mainland China involved in any way?
Well, I mean, they've amassed a lot of troops there. But there's actually something else that's incredibly important coming up in the very near future, on the 21st of this month, Venzen.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're aware of this. Our 2 countries are playing each other in the Rugby World Cup.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about my workshop starts on the 21st of September.
No.
So,
but you should definitely. Have you got a screen share you can throw up? I want a free course. No. Should we have a bet? We're not allowed to give financial advice, but bet on the All Blacks, everyone.
You know what? I'm so out of touch with my country's rugby.
You got a really good team.
Skills. I don't know who the players are. I don't know what they're trying. You're telling me, right? So okay. Yeah. I will be a good sport and bet you something to be determined. The cash prize. I'm gonna bet on the Springboks. I'll bet on
the best Springbok team I've seen in a very long time. So
fantastic. But I mean, the All Blacks have got a formidable history, right? So you guys are scary, man.
Yeah.
You guys are. Yeah. Let me show people this real quick, right? There's this guy called Venzen Khaosan. He's doing this.
He looks a lot like you, this guy.
He looks like me, talks like me. Is he as charming and well informed as me?
I guess people would have to show up at his course to find out.
I tell you what, he's a trader, and he's a Bitcoin enthusiast user, and he's got 10 years of market experience, and he does this trading camp he offers to people in Thailand. They come to Thailand, he takes them to a resort and spends 6 days of intense training with him, day in and day out. Start the morning with some meditation, perhaps some yoga or stretching exercises, do some fasting to really get those brain cells primed, and then we start looking at the behavior of markets, what is the engine, what is the driver of market behavior, because it's not what people think, right? It's something quite obvious that once it's pointed out to you, you can see it. I take people through all of that, and I teach them a trading method. It's actually not important what trading method people use, but they must use a trading method. I happen to teach them my trading method, but I show them other methods that might work better for them. But the important skill that I relay to them is how to manage their money in the market, so that because losing is inevitable in the market, you want to minimize your losses. You want to have series of small losses as you try to find a trend. And when you do get into a trend, when price does start trending, you let that winner run and you start building a position. This skill called money management is critical to trading, because it means that you've got longevity in the market. It means that you take those small losses in order to win big. It's just something that you need to be shown to believe. And then the trading method is based on a sort of a very simple indicator that anybody can use, but surprisingly most people don't. And Tyler Jenks did, the moving average. And I show people how to identify trend technically in the chart. And once you identify a trend, you've got to be aggressive, and you build that position, you build it up. So when people leave, they're healthier, they've got a better understanding of markets, and they've got confidence that when they trade, they're going to be profitable. And this is probably my best and my favorite work, because every trader that comes and then eventually walks away with a smile and reports back to me that this works. Thank you for showing me this. And when Bitcoin was $3,000, I priced it at 1 Bitcoin for attendance. But with price being above 10,000, I dropped the price to 0.25 Bitcoin. So it's affordable. Anybody can come. They just need to pay that and their airfare. And once they're at either Krabi or Phuket airport, I have a taxi waiting for them. They then get on the taxi, they get on a boat, and they come to the resort, and everything is on me after that.
Fantastic. So that cryptocurrency.net is where they can get in touch with you?
Yes, they can go to this website, cryptocurrency.net, and they can get all the details and be able to book as well. I believe that you're coming soon, Sean.
Yes. I will be there indeed. I can't wait. I need some beach action, a cold beer with you, and finally to learn how to trade. I think it's about time to wrap my head around that properly. I'm learning a lot just from these talks we have with you, but obviously a proper course is it's about that time.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Sean, thanks so much for organizing these video shows. I'm really enjoying having chats with you and other people in the space.
Likewise.
And I hope we just go from strength to strength. And
we will.
My team kicks your All Blacks ass, man.
We'll see about that, mate. Okay. All right. Listen, always a pleasure talking with you, my friend. And everyone will post the video with Daniel Krawitz and Venzen and myself. A lot of great information there. So as I say, it was it's nice to have a level-headed conversation. It's a very emotional topic for a lot of people. This whole space can be tribal. What I would say, if you are new, then take your time, learn the basics, and if you're going to trade, definitely check out Venzen's content. He's been doing this for a long time. I had my flutter in the trading world back in 2017, and you really need to know what you're doing. This is a market where it can completely change your life if you know what you're doing. So strongly.
And you know why? You know why it's so strange? Because this market is characterized by emotionality. It's one of the most emotional markets ever.
Yeah,
that's why it moves the greatest distances ever. There's just so much fear and greed, and people new to the space often get introduced when that emotion has already gained momentum.
Correct.
So they come in with that kind of charge.
Yeah,
and
you got to go in with the cool head, eh?
Yeah, you just got to wait your time. Come here, come to this channel and learn from us. It's our motto to speak to people who are new in Bitcoin. There are many other people you can listen to. We've got our friend Tone Bays. There are excellent videos out there, but I want to point viewers to the fact that Sean has been running this hard forking channel for a long time, and you're going to find very excellent information and interesting interviews and people in this channel. And do come back, subscribe, and watch us. We'll take you through the journey and make the baby steps until you can confidently trade and invest in Bitcoin. By the way, my girlfriend is now going through your channel and watching everything, because she was like, where can I find these videos you're making with Sean? And once I showed her, now she's telling me about the Bitcoin family,
Right. Actually, you know what? I spoke to them today. They're in Liechtenstein of all places. So you know what? Let's get Didi on our next vlog. That'll be fun.
Let's do.
Yeah.
A long time we haven't spoken.
Yeah, they're all on a mountain in Liechtenstein, one of the smallest countries of the world. So yeah, look, I'll have a chat with you offline, and we'll tee up a date. But we'll certainly be back here in the next few days, people. There's obviously a lot of price action at the moment, some interesting things. So stay tuned for that, and we'll certainly be bringing you lots more interesting guests. Check out the chat we've just done with Daniel. And if you are watching this and you'd actually like to come and join us, get in touch. I hope you can see we're open to people from the various camps within Bitcoin and outside of that as well. We want to educate people on this whole space. There's no judgment here. Come and put forward your case for your project. You're certainly going to get an open forum. Venzen, thanks once again for your time. We'll speak very soon.
Cheers. All right, then. Bye for now.
Nice one. Cheers, mate.
Sure.